The story begins with a grand city named Vinthan, an incredibly bustling place with densely packed buildings. At the center of the city stands a towering stone statue of a woman. Levantu, the city lord of Vinthan, shouted, "Everyone don't fight. There's enough for everyone. Let me through, I'm starving. It's been 3 days." The female war goddess is still considered somewhat kind-hearted. She even serves porridge to us inside the stall. The deputy city lord, the Virgin, Luke Van Q, exclaimed, "Wow, this is the statue of the female war goddess, is it?" The man, dirty and filthy, held a bowl in his hand, staring intently at the statue. "The ruler of this city is actually such a stunningly beautiful woman." He took a bowl of porridge and gulped it down greedily like a starving tiger. He sat down quickly, wiping the porridge off his mouth, sighing finally a meal where he could eat his fill. At this moment, the old men, after eating the porridge, spat out blood, clutching their necks and shouting, "Ah! I told you that female war goddess isn't as good as you think. The 5 villages of the city from a year ago were all killed by your female war goddess. Why won't she spare us?" At this moment, the man was extremely panicked, his eyes wide open. "What?" Then his head spun, his body slowly lost strength, causing him to drop the bowl of porridge, shattering it. "I am a mulberry farmer from Tangchan," he murmured. "While transporting silk to the city lord's mansion, I encountered bandits with no other choice I had to resort to. Begging. Like this, 'I swear I won't do it again. Please, spare me. I don't want to die yet.'" The scene shifts to inside the dungeon of Vinthan City, where hunger overwhelms. Isn't this the female war goddess, both beautiful and powerful? "Heaven has not abandoned me before I die. It has allowed me to experience such a sweet spring night." After a while, rapped 2 people to the top. He slowly opened his eyes. He was extremely panicked. What is this? In front of him was an incredibly beautiful woman, her figure graceful, with only a few pieces of fabric covering the necessary parts. He was startled. What is going on? Why am I in the dungeon, and why am I here with the female war goddess? This feeling I'm not dead yet. Could it be that what happened earlier wasn't a dream? I really... He raised his hand, and in the palm of his hand was something white. He stared closely. "Oh, you're awake too. That's great, haha." At this moment, the female martial goddess sat up straight. Her face flushed as she stared at you intently. Then she said, "So what happened after that? We were just robbed of all our money and ended up eating porridge with poison." That's why the female martial goddess said, "What's the difference, though? She had already achieved her goal." He. A laugh came from outside the bars, looking in and laughing loudly, causing the 2 of them to startle and turn their faces back when they saw the body of the elder sister, very well preserved. Seems like last night this beggar had served quite attentively. I wonder how many hearts will be shattered if the story of the elder sister with her outstanding beauty and talent sleeping with a beggar spreads outside. Don't worry, elder sister. I will definitely make sure this story reaches everyone's ears. You will become the topic of conversation at every tea table and dinner table. Ha ha ha! The man quickly covered one eye, peeking with the other, as if he had been waiting for this moment. "Did you really get tricked by someone?" Bump, look at your head. You're not allowed to look. Who? Didn't you also look at mine? It's not like you're losing anything. If you want to die, I will make your wish come true." He then raised the little worm high, closing his eyes. It's fine. I won't look. I just want to think of a way to get out." At this moment, the little worm bit through the iron bars as easily as it would bite through pieces of cake. His nose immediately grew longer. "Ha! My little worm is truly omnipotent. Go, little worm." He sat sulking, turning his face to the corner of the wall. Hoo. What's with the way you're looking at me? All right, fine. Help me get up then. He immediately turned his face around. "You're the powerful female martial goddess. Do you really need me to help you up? I've been poisoned now. My whole body has no strength." "If you have no strength, then it's none of my business. It's your fault. I won't help you up. I was beaten blind and can't see anything at all." The female martial goddess then punched him relentlessly. "Not helping me up. Hey, stop hitting. I'll help. Is that enough?" He cried and sulked, allowing the female martial goddess to stand up and climb onto his shoulders to get outside. Didn't you say you had no strength? How can you be this strong?" "But it's deserved." He looked up at the edge, his heart bleeding with blood spurting from his nose. After a moment, the female martial goddess kicked him straight in the face and jumped outside. After waiting for a long time, he still didn't see the female martial goddess return. "Where are you? Pull me out with you." He hugged his face and thought, The more beautiful a woman is, the less you can trust her truly. You can't trust women. Suddenly a burlap sack fell straight onto his head. Ouch. The female martial goddess outside reached her hand and put it on. I'll pull you up. The female martial goddess then pulled him up. Put some effort into it. Why are you so heavy? Panting heavily after a while, she finally managed to pull him outside. The female martial goddess blushed, her body sweating and sticky. He thought, it seems the toxins in her body still haven't been expelled. She's no different from a fragile young girl. Shh, follow me, don't make any noise. At this moment, reaching a corner of the wall, the female martial goddess hurriedly pushed aside a large stone. He tiptoed closer. Beneath the large stone was a pit. He stroked his chin. Are you sure we can get out of the city from here? Of course you can go by yourself, can't you? He crawled behind the female martial goddess, his eyes staring intently. How much longer do we have to crawl? I can't take it anymore. The female martial goddess turned around. So you can't take it anymore. Your stamina is really too weak. I'm anemic. At this moment inside the city, fires were blazing everywhere, thick smoke rising. Everyone was in a panic fire hurry run. On top of a tall building, the silhouette of a beast with fierce blood-red eyes kept spewing fire, burning everything. Help, help. Everyone hurriedly ran for their lives. Upon closer look, the creature was a massive, fiery red dragon, the golden fire dragon. Standing atop a tall building, an old man and a woman watched closely. Do you see? Are you satisfied now? A man with a cold expression walked up from behind. He was the Dragon Master Yahello. The old man, sweating, said, Honorable Longton, Jia, we have no grudges with you. Why must you? Yahello raised the portrait of the female martial goddess and said to them, I've told you she is the one they want. Now where is she? Seems like I've been too lenient. This city no longer needs to exist. The woman crossed her arms and smiled. Master, she slept with a beggar. She has become the dirtiest woman after you. You should miss her. What did she do anyway? She then stepped forward and stroked Yahello, a pure and elegant young woman with some strategies to command the city's army. If you don't mind, tonight I can marry you. He immediately grabbed her neck. She widened her eyes in panic. He was extremely angry. What did you say? How dare you touch her if she is a pearl? Then what are you but filthy mud and dirt? His gaze was extremely fierce. You filthy commoners, you no longer need to exist in this world. After finishing his words, the large dragon aimed at the old man and shot out flames, burning him. At this moment, the woman's body, her clothes burned to ashes, leaving only a few scraps of fabric. She laughed loudly. Ha ha ha. Yahello, stunned, asked, What are you laughing at? Ha 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 ha. I understand now. Cough cough. Before you became a dragon master, you were nothing but dirt in her eyes. His face was filled with veins, extremely angry. She continued, you longed to have her. Yet she treated you coldly, like a servant in the end. You tamed the dragon, hoping she would see you differently. But I ruined her if you day and night long for her, only to embrace a beggar who gets to enjoy and lick her. Ha 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 ha. At this moment, Yahello gritted his teeth tightly. He coldly squeezed her head, then her body flew off. He yelled, Shut up and die. Even so. Vinthan, you can only belong to me, Yahello. At this moment, the massive dragon flew high above, continuously spewing fire downwards, incinerating everything below. Those who couldn't escape in time were struck by the flames, and in an instant they were burned black, dying before they could even gasp. Outside the city at this moment, from beneath a hole, a hand then gripped the edge of the opening. Vinthan and the man crawled out of the hole. Vinthan glanced back at the city engulfed in raging flames behind them. The two looked back. The Dragon Master. What now? Vinthan has been destroyed. Luckily, we managed to escape. What do you plan to do next? Your enemies have discovered you've escaped. They might search for you. Your strength hasn't recovered yet either. How about coming to my place to take refuge for a while? Vinthan silently led the way. After walking for some time at this moment in Little Trang Town, a small house stood alone. After traveling for 3 days and 3 nights, I can finally get some sleep. Inside the room, Vinthan lay asleep on the bed, while the man pushed 2 chairs together and lay down to sleep beside her. He opened his eyes. He glanced at Vinthan's sleeping face, which was incredibly beautiful. He pondered his 2 positions of power had been seized, his virginity was also gone, and Vinthan was destroyed by an unknown enemy. Truly, the anger and suppressed grievance couldn't be concealed in her eyes. He was probably just a beggar who had taken her virginity. After a good night's sleep, he squinted his eyes open, A fragrance wafted over and assaulted his nostrils, making his mouth water. He sat up and rubbed his eyes, looking to the side. It was a large round pomelo being cooked. "So fragrant," he exclaimed, his eyes widening. "My silkworm. My adorable silkworm, how could you eat it?" Vinthan glanced at me, saying she was hungry and asking if I had anything to eat. As soon as she finished speaking, Vinthan opened her pretty mouth and put the fragrant silkworm into it. "Oh dear ancestors, please don't eat it. I'll go buy you cakes, okay?" He hurriedly ran into the town highs. Who would have thought that someone with such celestial looks and extraordinary temperament would be so cruel as to eat my silkworm? He glanced at a nearby stall, the old man looking at the smiling children. "In this world, the most precious thing is the dragon. This great hall possesses an extremely strange power. Regardless of what living being enters, there is a certain probability of transforming into a dragon. Legend has it that all living things have a dragon gate, and after leaping over it they will be able to transform into a dragon. There is a type of person who seeks the laws of dragon transformation to assist living beings who can transform into dragons to cross the dragon gate. These people are called dragon masters. Aha, later I will definitely become a dragon master, but after becoming a dragon master my heart must be good, and I must not kill innocent people. Okay? Grandpa, is it very difficult to find a demon spirit that can transform into a dragon?" "That's right, in recent months there have been rumors that demon spirits really like to eat silkworm meat. If a demon spirit that eats silkworm meat appears, we must capture it as its dragon transformation rate is very high. Ha, your family raises a lot of silkworms. Therefore, recently the price of silkworms has been very high. Our dissipate town lives by raising silkworms and can earn quite a bit." He then turned and left crying, "Damn it, my silkworm." Returning to his house, he opened the door and stepped inside. "I'm back, come quickly and try the cake I bought." "Where is she?" He looked at the table and saw a letter placed under the teapot. "I'm leaving now, don't look for me. From now on I won't know you and you won't know me." He held the letter thinking, did she just leave like this? Did I become the greatest shame of her life actually? Never mind. He looked at the silkworm and smiled. "Do you think we're going back to those stormy days again? But actually it's fine. No pressure, no worries, and no one needs us to take responsibility. Let's go, I'll take you to eat." He suddenly got startled and quickly turned his face back. He was stunned. "Didn't you leave? Why are you back again? And you're not making any sound. You scared me to death." Vinthan hurriedly stepped forward and whispered, "There's something you need to help me pretend to be my clan member." He thought her clan member, the La family, the Dragon City faction, right? Suddenly from outside, Liu slammed the door open and walked in, lost in his steps. Vinthan and the man both jumped in surprise. "Is the person you wanted to journey with him?" Vinthan said he had already reported the current situation to the clan before me. "I have him here to help heal the remaining wounds, and then I will immediately return to the Dragon City clan. Since I came first, I have the right to take the initiative." He immediately knelt down, saying, "The female commander in the clan has ordered me to take you back, not allowing strangers to accompany you with your noble status and beauty. I believe you should not trust someone without a background like Liu." Liu, irritated, retorted, "What do you mean without a background I am?" Vinthan interrupted Liu. "He was once a servant in the inner court of Vinthan. Now he is a wood dragon master. Not someone without a background, as you say. Oh, so he is from within the clan. In that case, let's set off together. Having one more person can help us all," she added. After a while of conversation, the dragon spread its large wings. Vinthan and the man sat behind the dragon's body, while Liu stood on its head, controlling the dragon as it flew away. The man stroked his chin, beads of sweat appearing on his darkened face. He thought to himself, "This is the dragon that destroyed Vinthan. It seems that Liu wants to kill me." He had no idea who the beggar was, who had done such a thing with Vinthan. Someone capable of mercilessly destroying an entire city. "Liu, this person was once a servant of your father, but now he's not anymore, is he?" Vinthan glanced over. "This Liu once secretly watched me practice swordplay. At that moment I was unexpectedly alerted and glanced behind to see who it was. He was hiding behind, peeking at me. He was startled when I noticed him, and after being discovered he was kicked out of the family by my father." The man thought to himself, just for peeking at her while she was practicing swordsmanship, he was kicked out of his own family, yet after taking her virginity, he remains calm and at ease. Truly, a person with great fortune and luck. Vinthan continued, "He harbors hatred, and that's why he became an eye dragon master now." The man hurriedly said, Wasn't it because he didn't directly take her away that he wanted to take this opportunity to return to her family's great clan, forcing her to go back like this? Who knew if something might happen along the way? It was hard to say. Vinthan said that's right. Yahello glanced forward and looked back. That brat kept getting close to the female commander, mumbling something, truly making me so angry I could die. Suddenly the man and Vinthan were startled and panicked. Yahello controlled the massive dragon, diving headfirst from above at great speed. The man immediately hugged Vinthan in fear. At this moment the dragon landed on a large mountain. The man broke out in a cold sweat. Terrified, he hurriedly grabbed Vinthan's leg. "You trying to murder the female commander?" Yahello glanced over and said, "Truly my apologies. This fire dragon of mine has a bit of a fierce temperament, so it was a bit reckless when landing. But being a member of the Le family, how dare you lay your hands on the female commander's body?" Vinthan gave him a swift kick, knocking him headfirst into the ground. "Ouch, get lost." The guard who had just entered the Dragon Academy said, "The dragon is still not fully formed. My apologies for troubling Master La." Yahello jumped down. "You haven't even become a dragon master yet. And you dare act like this, Chuck? You're truly brave, Chuck." Van Lang held his face in thought. This guy spent the whole journey thinking of ways to probe and attack me. Humph. Luckily I can endure. From the top of the mountain, Vinthan looked down and said, "Below is the headquarters of the Dragon City sect." Chuck Van Lang was astonished. It is said that the headquarters of the Dragon City sect was formed by an ancient primordial dragon. Today, witnessing it firsthand, it truly lives up to its legendary reputation. Inside the main hall of the Liu family, "Master, please don't be agitated. It's good that you've returned safely." The old man angrily smashed the teacup. The shards of the teacup grazed Vinthan's face, cutting a gash that immediately bled. The old man sitting on the chair was the Le family head, Laan. The woman beside him was the Truong family's Madame Kongdong. "You couldn't even protect your own reputation. How will you maintain the Dragon City sect-renowned name throughout this land in the future?" Yahello said in a flustered manner, "Lord, this subordinate has already destroyed all of Vinthan. How could this matter have reached the Dragon City sect headquarters so quickly?" The old man Laan, his face irritated, said, "Shut your mouth. Is it your turn to speak here?" Yahello was immediately forced to his knees by the oppressive aura, utterly terrified. Kongdong smiled and then said, "In any case, Vinthan has made no small contributions to us, even if her reputation is ruined. Now her authority as commander-in-chief still remains." The old man, Laan, interjected, "What authority as commander-in-chief does she still have? Moreover, the generals and soldiers under this so-called female general will all have to endure similar humiliation. The title of the female commander will disappear like this. Your military guards will be reassigned to other positions, continuing to guard the western battlefield. The heir of the Long clan will be your younger sister, Nam Lin Dieu, and she will take charge. You will be locked in the palace, forbidden from meeting anyone." The old man Laan looked sternly and called out to Yahello. Yahello hurriedly responded, "I am here, your servant. The dragon you speak of is the Liu Kim fire dragon. Yes, my lord." "Ha ha 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 ha. I didn't expect that. After you left the Le family, you would have such a great opportunity this time. You did well. Let those legends know that the people of the Le family are absolutely not to be trampled upon. You should become my subordinate. The Liu Kim fire dragon is a true dragon with immense potential, but it also requires enormous resources and the guidance of a master. As long as you remain loyal, your future will be bright." Yahello was overjoyed at this moment, smiling brightly. Laan and Kongdong then left, bowing their heads in gratitude. "Thank you, my lord, thank you, my lord." Chuck Van Lang thought to himself, "Wait, what about me? Why am I being left out?" Yahello turned his face and looked at Vinthan. "Vinthan, miss, you don't need to pay attention to the opinions of others. I will strive to become a middle-class landowner of the Liu family and use every method to have your father marry you to me. My feelings for you, Miss Vinthan, are sincere." Chuck Lang, standing beside, was startled as Yahello continued, "Miss Vinthan. There's no need to answer right away, just understanding my heart and feelings is enough." Chuck Lang furrowed his brows behind him, thinking, "Am I really invisible?" He turned and left, saying, "I will prove it to you, miss." Chuck Lang at this moment handed a handkerchief to Vinthan, who was still bleeding. "Wipe it off." Vinthan brushed past Chuck Lang, remaining silent as tears began to fall. Chuck Lang glanced over deep in thought without saying another word. In the evening in the living room of the Le family, Chuck Lang lay on the bed, constantly thinking. Although she didn't vent her anger on him, she clearly didn't want him to see it. However, he couldn't just stay idle at the Le family. He still needed to find somewhere to stay temporarily. Luckily, he could still plant mulberry trees, right? Otherwise, if little Bok Kai woke up and found there was nothing to eat, it would cause chaos. Speaking of little Bok Kai, it's been several days since he's come out. Could he be preparing to hibernate in his domain? Let's go take a look. Inside the domain, a domain is the space of a dragon master used to store dragons that they have tamed. Chuck Lang poked at an ice cocoon. How strange, why does it have an extra wing? Looking at the crack inside the cocoon, he was startled. This is... From within, a pair of white wings broke out of the cocoon, radiating sparkling light spots, and a long horn. Gradually, it became clear that a small dragon was curled up in a deep sleep. Is this an omen of dragon transformation? Bai Hai returning to the dragon throne. That's great. It seems that it won't be long before I can freely soar through the sky like before Haze. It's a pity I'm not a true wood dragon master, otherwise I would never have let you transform into this form. Don't worry, Bok Kai. I will definitely uncover the reason for your degeneration and then help you grow. I will bring you back to the peak, becoming a true wood dragon master. Moreover, I don't want to become the disgrace of her life in this lifetime. I must find a safe place for Bok Kai to go through this transformation stage. I am also not yet proficient in handling the Dragon City sect legacy. Suddenly there was a knock on the door from outside. Young master, are you asleep? I have come. I am Seo Ni, the maidservant of the female general. The female general sent me to deliver this letter of introduction from the Pure Dragon Academy to you. Oh, many thanks, Miss Duong Ni. Holding the letter in his hand, Chuck Lang pondered. She actually wants to turn this Dragon Master identity from fake to real. I'm afraid Lai Ye will investigate later. The Dragon Master Academy is also a good place. If I can learn, I will. Duong Wai Te smiled and said, young master, after registering, you absolutely must not miss the young spirit selection. You must choose carefully. Scene changed to an academy on a large island, high above the sky, Pure Dragon Academy. So this is the Pure Dragon Academy, indeed extraordinary and imposing. Little brother, have you also come to admire the academy? Chuck Lang was startled. I've come to enroll. The woman in front of him was the peach-selling girl Phuong Niem Niem. Oh dear, I didn't recognize you. Niem Niem looked at Chuck Lang and smiled broadly. I didn't recognize you, little brother. You look so handsome, yet you're still not awake. Chuck Lang frowned. I'm not still asleep. Why is this little girl like this? Niem Niem put on a serious face, looking at how ordinarily you're dressed and that you're not even carrying a young spirit. You even look a bit foolish. Since when has the enrollment standard for the Pure Dragon Academy become so low? Chuck Lang was annoyed. Do you dare to bet with me? I'll go in there now, and the people at the main gate won't stop me if I can go in. You have to give me this basket of peaches. All right then, what if I win? I will buy all of these peaches. Lulu, I'd never believe you could buy all these peaches. At this moment, Chuck Lang walked towards the large gate of the academy. He met an old man and said, I've come to enroll. This is my letter of introduction. The old man took the letter in his hand. Go to the place in front to get your student badge, then stand to the side and wait a moment. Chuck Lang turned back and said loudly, you saw me go in, so I won. Niem Niem on the other side completely ignored him. She kept introducing Aunt Ha. You really can't get any more discount. Look at these peaches, how delicious and sweet they are. Chuck Lang frowned, annoyed. He thought, damn it, this is even more irritating than losing. Standing in front of the large gate for a long time at this moment, a dragon swimming in the water approached. The old man crossed his arms and said, everyone is here, let's depart. Sitting on the dragon's back in front of Chuck Lang were Manhwa, and in the middle Li Tiu Din. A voice from the shore shouted loudly, Li Tiu Din, you are the hope of our village. No matter what, you must become a Dragon Eye Master. If you can't, it's okay. Just come back to the village. You'll be released on the pasture. And if you don't get fat, we'll raise you for milk without milk. The calves and lambs won't survive the winter. Li Tiu Din, feeling embarrassed, covered his face while the others smiled brightly. Remember to share the venison with your friends. If you don't know someone, make sure to build good relationships with those around you. That way, you won't get bullied. Li Tiu Din blushed, reaching out his hand. I know already, Uncle Hoa, please go back. I'm begging you. Li Tiu Din glanced at Chu Lang. Brother, Chu, did you just enroll as well? I am Lai Thieu Din. What is your name? Chu Van Lang replied. I am Chu Van Lang. Thieu Din glanced ahead, not knowing how brother should address him. The flower boy in front of him looked down on him, not saying a word. The old man in front shouted loudly, You three enrolled later, so the journey is longer. You must start quickly now. When you arrive at Dragon Character Hall, you can only choose from the remaining young spirits. The three of them turned their faces at this moment, sitting on the dragon's back, looking ahead. After a while, they arrived at the Dragon Character Hall, a massive and magnificent golden building. Inside the Dragon Character Hall, an old man sat with his legs crossed on a chair. Around him, mythical beasts soared and danced in the air. The old man spoke, Choose after choosing. Come to me to register. Once the young spirit imprint is completed, it will belong to you. He looked at the three of them, appearing bored. Looking into the garden, there were small young spirits of all kinds, bat-winged birds, horned sheep, large squirrels. Lai Din clasped her hands excitedly. Wow, so many young spirits, which one should I choose? Lien Hoa Nam tilted his head and chuckled. Haha, you guys are really taking this seriously. Even among these 1,000 young spirits, it's not certain any of them will truly become dragons. Bringing you here to choose is just to give you a little hope of becoming dragon masters. Just pick one and don't hesitate anymore. Instead of wasting time here choosing trash, you might as well put in some effort to tame your own young spirits. At this moment, Chuck Lang suddenly turned his head. Looking behind, he saw wolves fighting over pieces of meat. Then his eyes fell on a small silkworm. Oh, a silkworm. Suddenly, a creature resembling a crocodile lunged forward and snapped up the silkworm. The wolf suddenly struck the crocodile. Weight is struck too violent here. Chuck Lang stepped forward and grabbed the crocodile. He looked at the crocodile. Tune Gok Lin, from now on you'll live with Big Brother. Tune Gok Lin lifted its tail and peed straight into Chuck Lang's face, a golden stream of fragrant urine. Ouch, Chuck Lang said angrily, squeezing Tune Gok Lin's neck tightly. It cried out. Chuck Lang thought, no wonder you get bullied by the other young spirits, you little rascal. You're really hopeless. He remembered the old man's instructions recently. There's been a rumor going around that young spirits really like to eat silkworm meat. If any young spirit eats silkworm meat, you must catch it because its dragon transformation rate will be very high. This crocodile's bones are very hard. It's like a dragon hiding itself. Oh well, never mind, little brother. Chuck Lang smiled enticingly. I'm also someone who specializes in raising silkworms. Whether I can help you transform into a dragon is another matter, but I guarantee you'll have enough silkworm meat to eat. How about it? I'll give you one more chance. Do you want to live with Big Brother? Gok Lin stuck out its tongue eagerly, nodding repeatedly. Chuck Lang then pricked his finger, a drop of blood oozing out, radiating golden spiritual energy, as he pressed it onto the core and soul of Gok Lin. The soul contract is done, Chuck Lang said. From now on, I'll call you Little Hack. In the afternoon at the dormitory area, Chuck Lang worked hard digging for an entire session, finally uncovering a pond. What do you think? The pond I dug for you isn't too bad, right? Little Hack happily jumped into the pond. You play by yourself. I'm going to take a bath now. Inside the room, Chuck Lang stepped into the bathtub. He felt extremely refreshed. This is great. The scene shifts to the next day. He was still lying asleep on the bed. Suddenly, Little Hack jumped straight onto his face. Ouch. He suddenly sat up. Good morning, you like to train, huh? Rewarding you with a silkworm today, I will take you to a place to train. Chuck Lang and Little Hack were walking on the road. In front of them were four men discussing. You haven't met her, so you don't know. Her appearance is like a flower. It's really cruel of heaven to treat her this way. I heard he's a beggar, but I also heard he's a vagabond. What do you know in a place with no order like Ngo Tui, with a celestial beauty like hers, who wouldn't want to taste it? Please stop talking. She is the woman of my dreams. Don't say such harsh words. Chuck Lang looked at the group of people passing by behind him, sighed, thinking highs. Things are getting more and more distorted. After a while, they reached the inside of the forest, a large waterfall. Chuck Lang sat beside the waterfall. Two grouper fish, so delicious, yet you don't want to eat them. Little Hack kept a serious face, swimming quickly through the water. Not bad at all with those skills. Chuck Lang was startled, watching Little Hack about to be swept away by the waterfall. Hey, don't show off like that. Come back here quickly. Chuck Lang immediately stood up and ran quickly. He waded into the water, grabbing Little Hack. Chuck Lang immediately threw Little Hack away. He quickly grabbed a branch. Next time, don't be so careless like that. Little Hack on the shore watched Chuk Lang with great worry. The branch Chuk Lang was holding immediately snapped. He panicked. This isn't good. Little Hack with a serious face made up his mind. It immediately jumped into the water, hurriedly swimming fast toward Chuk Lang. Don't come over, go back quickly. Little Hack's eyes emitted lightning sparks of determination. It swam incredibly fast at that moment. The small horns on Little Hack's body suddenly grew larger, piercing outward. On Little Hack's head, a sharp horn grew, blood flowing from it. Little Hack leaped out of the water, its body gradually transforming into a small dragon. On this side, Chuk Lang fell into the waterfall. He shouted loudly, "Ah!" He opened his mouth in shock, panicking. Behind him, a rock rose up. Chuk Lang sat on the rock, astonished. Long, a massive dragon, emerged from within the waterfall, stretching its head out. Chuk Lang was utterly shocked. Looking down the waterfall, a small figure stood on a rock. The woman was extremely beautiful. Don Lam said, "This flesh and blood body is thanks to the nurturing of my parents. Why would you try to commit suicide?" Zhao Long let Chuk Lang down. He quickly walked over and explained, "This isn't suicide. It was an accident." At this moment, Little Hack leapt from above the waterfall and jumped down. It was startled. Little Hack's legs flailed continuously. It was extremely scared. Below was just empty air. Suddenly, the massive Zhao Long lifted its head out of the waterfall, catching Little Hack. It placed Little Hack down next to Chuk Lang. "Little Hack, you've leveled up." Little Hack licked Chuk Lang's face. "But even though you've gotten stronger, you still can't jump like that. It will hurt your bones." Duan Lam glanced over. "Is this your young spirit? Take good care of it. It might have found the path to becoming a dragon. If there's nothing else, don't disturb me while I cultivate." Chuk Lang and Little Hack clasped their hands respectfully, thanking the senior sister for saving their lives. If you were to meet the Lang Lin bullies again, like those at the Jiao Long Temple, you might be able to give them a deadly blow. Little Hack looked toward the Jiao Long and the waterfall, growling loudly. "Ha ha ha ha, that's right. Your goal isn't just to defeat those wolves. There will come a day when you can fight this Jiao Long." The scene shifts to the academy's dormitory. Li Din cried, hugging the cow lying on the ground. I give up. Ha ha ha. Every time I ask you to do chores, don't talk so much." Chuk Lang and Little Hack walked over. There's nothing to see a young spirit fighting against another young spirit. It's just a waste of time. Chuk Lang held Little Hack in his arms. Are you hungry? Chuk Lang then offered a fish to Little Hack. Little Hack eat a few grouper fish for, "Now I will raise a whole cart of silkworms for you. Eat until you're full back. Then you didn't say this, you fraud." The scene shifts to the next day. Chuk Lang carried a large basket of silkworms on his shoulder, sweating. He thought food for Little Hack. "For now, I can trade work at the Chulong Temple for silkworms, but Little Hack is growing. If it continues like this, it definitely won't be enough. Looks like I'll have to find a way to earn money to buy food." Chuk Lang stroked his chin. "That's right. There's also Little Bok. It only likes to eat flower nectar after it wakes up. I'll make sure to feed it plenty of nectar." A sudden voice shouted loudly, "Chuk Van Lang, you stop." Li Din covered his nose. "Ugh, what's wrong with you? It smells awful. Did you just fall into a latrine? Are you going to clean the dragon's dung?" he thought. Why is this person so despicable? Cleaning the dragon's dung is a task for servants to do. He frowned, looking displeased. If that's the case, later you can clean everyone's rooms after all. If you can clean dragon dung cleaning, our rooms shouldn't be a problem. Chuk Lang then said, "Based on what, that's your business." Li Din angrily threw the broom on the ground. "You didn't attend the young spirit exam yesterday, so you've lost your privileges. The weakest should go clean up. Oh, those who choose to fight with you, dare to play, dare to take responsibility. It's reasonable. As for me, not participating means I don't need your help to clean my room, and I don't need to clean anyone else's room either." Li Din clenched his teeth, panicked. He watched Chuk Lang walk away, thinking to himself, acting all high and mighty. If you have the ability, go fight that wolf keeper, then talk. Chuk Lang returned to his room, pushing the door open. Looking inside, Little Hack sat sadly nibbling on a grouper. Chuk Lang, holding a bundle of silkworms, smiled. "Little Hack, look what I brought back." He placed the full basket of silkworms on the ground. Little Hack's eyes sparkled with joy. It immediately spat out the piece of fish it was chewing. Little Hack dove straight into the basket of silkworms. "Hey, take it slow." After a while, the basket of silkworms was empty, and Little Hack, with a satisfied round belly, lay on its back on the ground. Chuk Lang looked at Little Hack and thought, "Haze. Little Hack is growing exchanging silkworms for work at the Jiaolong Temple. Surely won't be enough to feed. Is there anything else I can exchange for food for a dragon? He thought of something and a smile appeared on his face. That's right, when I return from the Jiaolong Temple, after completing the Academy's mission, I think I'll receive a good reward. Let's give it a try. At the Academy's mission board, the long section. Chuck Lang looked at the missions posted on the board, scratching his head, sighing. I even have to go to the battlefield and break down fortresses. It must be a mission for the long section. The Academy's management is really vast. He focused on a mission on the board, not to attack the fortress of Ngothu, but to deal with the evil god in Dam City, who has now taken control of the fortress, offering the souls of the common people and slaves to refine dark magic that threatens the safety of the city's inhabitants. The mission deadline is 3 months with a reward of 1/4 of the city's tax revenue as the mission's trial reward. Includes 1/4 of the city's tax. It's a pity if Little Bok Koi hadn't been corrupted, I could have tried it. This mission could both train Little Hack and earn money. He read another mission. Exterminate 35 fish demons. Fish demons in the Lai Shuyen Lake have started to spread, howling incessantly at night, often laying eggs along the shore, affecting the Academy's aesthetics. Some of the fish demons even attack the villagers committing heinous crimes. Mission deadline, 1/2 month reward. 1 gold particle mission locked. The scene shifts to Lizuyan Lake, where Little Hack swims in the middle of the lake. Chuk Lang stood on the bridge looking down. He thought to himself, so that's how it is when these fish demons form a group. They signal the others in the swarm by thrashing around like this, allowing the others to avoid Little Hack's attacks. Little Hack swam quickly, creating a whirlpool beneath the bridge. Little Hack surfaced and spat out a mouthful of water. Chuck Lang, worried, thought to himself, Little Hack, even though these fish demons swim faster, they're not much faster than us. We still have a chance. Panting like a dog, Little Hack asked, have you figured out a way? Back at the waterfall in the mountains, you have to stay here and train, getting used to the water's resistance while also practicing to increase your speed, Chuck Lang said. Chuck Lang threw Little Hack into the whirlpool above the waterfall, shouting, come on, Little Hack, you can do it. Little Hack, sputtering, complained, ugh, I hate this place. Little Hack tried hard to swim, quickly escaping the whirlpool. At night, Little Hack, eyes spinning from exhaustion, crawled up onto the shore. It stuck out its tongue, panting. I'm so tired, little one, then continued. All right, today's training is complete. Let's go home. I've prepared a lot of silkworms for you. Its eyes immediately lit up, pointing and saying, go, 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 hurry up, while panting. A week later, beneath the whirlpool, a golden light began to emerge from the center of the swirling water. Little Hack jumped up from the whirlpool, his body radiating lightning as he growled, his form now much larger than before. Chuk Lang patted Little Hack's head, saying, all right, today we continue hunting the fish demons. This time we will definitely succeed. Chuk Lang and Little Hack stood on the bridge looking down at the water below. Chuk Lang shouted loudly, charge, and Little Hack immediately dove into the lake. Little Hack opened its mouth, watching the fish swim quickly beneath it, then broke the school apart and began chasing the one that separated from the group. Little Hack acted quickly, grabbing the fish and struggling to escape from the school of fish. Little Hack leapt out of the water, throwing the fish towards Chuk Lang. Ha ha ha, we did it. Chuk Lang held the fish in his hand, praising Little Hack. Excellent, let's continue. After that, countless fish were thrown onto the bridge by Little Hack. Mission complete, Little Hack, well done. At this moment in Latran district, holding the golden sand in his hand, Chuk Lang smiled. This golden sand should be able to buy a lot of delicious silkworm meat and maybe buy some honey that Tu Bok likes to eat as well. Finally, I found you, a woman called out from behind. Chuk Lang jumped in surprise. It's you. Niam Niam placed her hands on her hips. Little brother, you promised to buy all the peaches from my basket before, but I didn't expect you to avoid me for so long. Chuk Lang then took out a jade pendant, the token of the Pure Dragon Academy. Chuk Lang smiled brightly, clearly reminding her that she owed him a basket of peaches. The girl Neem Neem was startled. Oh, you're really a student of the Pure Dragon Academy. So where's your dragon? Chuk Lang smirked. Don't change the subject. I want the freshest, biggest, juiciest peaches. Neem. Neem pouted. Fine. Fine, you win. My house is full of peaches. Wait until I finish selling today's batch, then you can come to my place and pick them up. That's right, do you know where to buy honey nectar and silkworms? Ha ha ha. Neem Neem confidently boasted, my family sells those. There's nothing in this entire market that we don't sell with great prices. top-notch quality and trustworthy service. Chuck Lang raised his hand to stop her. All right, no need for advertising. I'll place an order for some silkworms and honey nectar as long as the quality is good. I'll be buying from you in the future. You want to place an order? How much with this gold nugget? Are you trying to order 10 baskets of silkworms and 10 jars of honey nectar? Ah, come on. Are you trying to rob me or something? What's this looking down on me? Niem covered her mouth and laughed, pointing toward the large boat. In the distance, little brother, look at that boat over there. Not only are there many beautiful women, but also some men. If you want to make money, I think you can try there. After all, you're handsome and well-built. Maybe you'll be loved by the ladies there. Chuck Lang clenched his fist, irritated. This is too much. How can you talk to a customer like that? I only supported you because we know each other. 10 baskets of silkworms, 8 jars of honey. If that's not possible, I'll find another place. Niem turned her face, negotiating 7 baskets of silkworms, 7 jars of honey. If you can find another place selling honey in this market, I'll take your surname. Chuck Lang sweated, thinking could it be that only her family sells it? Never mind, worst case, I'll just take on a mission to earn money. All right, we'll do as you say. Deal, Niem. Niem then completely ignored Chuck Lang, sending a greeting auntie. It's been a long time since we've met. You're looking even more beautiful now. I can feel my heart racing, just seeing you. Chuck Lang gasped in shock, utterly bewildered. What the heck? How did she change so? Suddenly, can you at least respect my feelings a little? Chuck Lang was taken aback, his eyes wide with astonishment. In front of him stood a beautiful woman with 2 round, fluffy rabbits, and Chuck Lang remarked, Niem, you've become more and more beautiful. Is his fan too? Chuck Lang smiled. Why are you here? Could it be that you're here to see me? The woman looked at Chachis Lang and said, We know each other. Niem sneered, little brother, with that level don't aim too high. Niem, then handed a peach to the woman in the purple robe. Nam Lin Du, sister, ignore him. Here, eat the peach. All right, today. I have something to do. I must return to the academy. Let's talk another time. Nam Lin Du left. Niem angrily looked at Chuck Lang earlier. What did you call her, Nam Lin Du? Huh. Are you really a student of the Pure Dragon Academy? You don't even know the great beauty. Like Nam Lin Du, sister. I have been self-cultivating, so I'm not really aware of the situation. At the academy, her name is Nam Lin Du, and she's a student of Pure Dragon Academy, is that right? Yes, she's the eldest daughter of the Nam family, someone you'll never be able to reach, so give up on that idea. Chuck Lang's eyes furrowed as he thought to himself, Nam family, could it be that I mistook the person? The scene shifts to the La family, where the commander says, I know your wishes. I've asked the master to help Vinthan think about the marriage. You must take the opportunity yourself. Thank you, madam, he replies. This is the decree from the master. He asked me to deliver it to you. The Q city has formed a coalition and the rebellion is underway, aiming to seize Donghuk city. The army in the city has already moved there. You should depart tomorrow and give them a lesson unlike your previous achievements. Completing this mission will significantly raise your reputation in the city. Lahie received the decree with both hands, a cunning look in his eyes. I, Lahie, will not let the madam and master down. There's one more thing I want to ask. The man who came back with you, do you know him? Lahie said Chuck Van Lang. Oh, Miss Vinthan said he's from the clan. Could it not be true? There's no name for him in the records of the manor. Never mind. You head to Donghu City first. I will investigate this person. Vinthan has been wronged, and it's hard to avoid bad people around her. He took the document and bowed respectfully, his teeth clenched, tightly filled with anger, thinking Chuck Van Lang, this kid really has something suspicious. If Chuck Van Lang isn't someone from the mansion, why would Le Vinthan lie about it? At this moment in Chuck Van Lang's room, he sneezed. Who is cursing me? Chuck Van Lang was surprised. The cocoon of little Bach emitted light through the cracks. Chuck Lang was delighted. That's great, little Bach is finally about to hatch. Little Bach, at this moment, had a pure white body with wings breaking free from the cocoon and flying out. Strange, it's not like the little Bach I knew. Little Hack looked at little Bach, panicked and astonished. Little Bach landed on Chuck Lang, rubbing its face against his all right, I've prepared the honey for you. Chuck Lang then gave little Bach the honey drink a lot, so you can grow big and strong. At this moment, little Hack looked at little Bach, its tongue sticking out, excitedly filled with joy. Little Hack, this is little Bach from now on. He'll be your teammate. Little Bach, say hello to beautiful Little Bach. Little Bach immediately glared sternly, his eyes as sharp as knives. Chuck Lang said in a fluster, "Ha, little hack, are you all right?" Little hack was frozen into a block of ice by Little Bach. Wah wah, I'm not a hooligan. Ha ha ha! Little hack looked at Little Bach extremely angrily. It growled, "So cold, my darling." Chuck Lang looked out the door in surprise. It was Li Din smiling and talking to someone. He immediately stood up and looked out. Crap, I almost forgot there's a class today. Scene changed to a tall, towering tower, the lecture hall of the Pure Dragon Academy. Have you heard anything recently? Some flowing gold fire dragons have been causing trouble in Dongfuck City. Even thugs wouldn't act like that. In Longthan headquarters, quite a few people are cursing the Dragon Master of the flowing gold fire dragons. That is Yahello, the Dragon Master recruited by the Le family not long ago. It is said that he is very cruel. A true man cannot fail to achieve merit on the battlefield. Wait until my landline transforms into a dragon. I will attack a city at that time. I invite everyone to come to my city to play this city. Lord will definitely treat you well. Ha 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 ha. If it transforms into a dragon, its temperament will also be masculine. His deep young spirit was originally a dragon child. It has already been able to release some low-level magic, unlike those who have to work hard on their own, like us. At this moment, the female disciples and even the men looked at Nam Deep with sparkling eyes, really. So it turns out Nam Deep already has a young dragon. How impressive. That guy raised his hand and laughed triumphantly. My Lang Lin transforming into a dragon is only a matter of time. Don't talk to me about any dragon children anymore. Who knows, maybe it will be eaten by my Lang Lin. That Nam Deep turned his face excitedly to glance. It seems you can't distinguish between dragons and wild beasts. Even if it's just a young spirit, it can tear your wolf into thousands of pieces. He then stepped forward, pointed at Chuck Lang. I don't like arguing in our academy, except for Chuck. Van Lang, everyone else has been beaten badly by me. If you have the ability, fight him. Chuck Lang thought to himself, I thought this guy was a show-off, but I didn't expect him to use this trick, bringing out a loner like me to test Nam Deep's strength. One arrow hits two targets. Nam Deep crossed his arms and said, So if I remember correctly, a few days ago you even went to the Dragon Character Hall to clean up manure. Could it be that you found some treasure while cleaning manure? Is it the chicken you are holding to deal with it? My 6 dragons don't need to take action. I only need one hand to crush it to death. Chuck Lang said nothing. Hugged Little White in his arms unexpectedly to show off in front of the women. This kid actually provoked me like this. You can insult me, but insulting Little White, I can't tolerate it. At this moment, Little Bach slowly opened its eyes. Little Bach then spread its wings and flew high up. Around it, a faint light radiated. Small ice fragments appeared floating in the air. The women exclaimed in surprise, Wow, so beautiful. What kind of dragon is this? That Nam Deep gritted his teeth angrily. Hump. Dragons are just using their appearance to attract other people's attention, far inferior to a truly capable dragon. Little Bach at this moment flew high up towards a rock where Little Bach flew past. White light spots radiated. Little Bach stood on the small rock in front, spread its wings and looked down. Little Bach's gaze then became stern. That Nam Deep performed hand seals with both hands. This chicken dares to provoke me. You want to fight, I will grant your wish. The people behind were extremely panicked. Unexpectedly, Nam Deep, who had just enrolled, was already a true dragon master. Wow. Nam Deep has a spirit domain. Nam Deep's move gradually grew larger. From within a foot with claws stepped out. Then the spiky body of a dragon became clear. It was extremely angry. The students in the distance broke out in a cold sweat. Astonished, damn. Luckily, I was smart enough to let Chuck Van Lang test him first. Otherwise, my Lang Len would definitely be bitten in two by that dragon now. That Nam Deep flipped his hair, showing off. See, huh? This is the gap between this chicken and my 6 dragons in his heart. He secretly smiled. Ha ha ha. Oh dear. I can't be too excited. I must continue to be cold. Yes, continue to be cold. The women behind were head over heels. Nam Deep, wow, the aloof god is my type. Nam Deep, go for it. I look up to you all. Wow. Unexpectedly, Nam Deep has such an overbearing dragon spirit, so handsome. His eyes then became sharp. 6 dragons, kill it. Receiving the order, the 6 dragons braced themselves and released a beam of green light attacking Little Bach. Little Bach flapped its wings and hurriedly dodged. Little Bach glanced at the Luke dragons. Little Bach flapped its wings and flew high. Little Bach's speed was extremely fast, creating air vibrations around it. Little Bach sternly folded its wings and swooped down like an arrow towards the Luke dragons. Boom, boom, Little Bach crashed straight into its chest. It was in pain and was pushed back. Little Bach's extremely powerful force sent the Luke dragon's entire body flying far away, whizzing past Nam Diep's face and the group of students. They were terrified. Boom, 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 the Luke dragons were violently thrown into the wall. Smoke filled the air and cracks formed on the wall. Little Bach spread its wings from within the smoke. The Luke dragons at this moment rolled its eyes back and lay collapsed on the ground. Little Bach was very excited. Everyone panicked. Damn. Nam Deep gritted his teeth, furious. Damn it. Chucklang raised his hand, smiling. Little Bach, come back here. Little Bach then rushed forward. It came and landed on Chucklang's shoulder. Everyone discussed. It really is a real dragon. That guy smiled brightly. Ha ha ha, I knew it, brother. Chuck is usually quiet but very strong indeed. Today has broadened my horizons. That Li Din immediately flattered. Indeed, when I enrolled, I saw that Brother Chuck had an extraordinary demeanor. Unlike ordinary people, indeed, my horizons have been broadened. The female students then ran over. So amazing in the future, Brother Chuck will definitely be a very powerful dragon master. Two women pressed their large round breasts against Chuck Lang's arm. His face turned red. Wow, Brother Chuck's young spirit is so strong and also beautiful. Brother Lang, do you have a girlfriend yet? What kind of person do you like? Chuck Lang's face flushed red. He thought, ha ha. No wonder it's Little Bach. Even as a young spirit, it already has such fighting power. My glorious days are about to return. Ahem. Put your dragon away. Nurture it slowly in the future. It has great potential. Namdeep, extremely angry, then recalled his Luke dragons. The Luke dragon's eyes at this moment became sharp. It stood up, braced itself, and released thorny vines that flew upwards. That Namdeep abruptly turned his face away, a happy thought arising in his heart. It advanced. In front of Chuklang was the Luke dragons, now extremely large thorny vines wrapped around its body, its eyes radiating electric lightning threads, and within its mouth appeared a terrifying purple light. The Luke dragons growled its roar, causing Chuklang to panic. How annoying. Chulong forced a smile as he looked at Nam Diep. Nam Diep. What did I say? Your dragon has great potential. I won the previous match, so let's consider this one. A loss for me, we'll call it. Even Nam Diep crossed his arms disdainfully. Don't talk nonsense. What do you mean 2 matches? I haven't recalled it yet. The duel isn't over. Your wild chicken is just a wild chicken. Don't think that inheriting a bit of Nu Feng's power can compare to my true dragon. Shulang immediately raised both hands. Then I accept. Suddenly, Little Bach flapped its wings and flew away. Chulang panicked. Little Bach return. Little Bach flew high up, facing the enormous and fiercely intimidating Luke dragon. That is Little Bach Koi's fighting spirit. It is being very serious, isn't it? Luke dragon opened its mouth, growling, then immediately released thorny vines that shot forward, swiftly attacking Little Bach. High above, Little Bach flapped its wings, unleashing sharp white ice shards in response. The mist released by Little Bach froze the thorny vines. Other thorny vines attacked Little Bach, but Little Bach moved with incredible agility, dodging all the attacks. Luke Dragon's furious tensed its body, reaching out with its claws to grab Little Bach, roaring loudly. At this moment, Little Bach's expression became serious. Chulong panicked and shouted loudly, "Be careful, there's poison." The enormous Luke dragons stood in the middle of the lecture hall, releasing waves of poisonous purple gas from its body, causing the students to panic and flee. "Mom, it's too fast," they shouted in fear. Lai Din stared at the pillar being corroded by the poison, his face filled with fear. On this side, the other person held his head, shouting, "Hurry, run, this Luke Lam Long is too strong. If the poison touches you, your skin will be corroded." From within the block of ice, Little Bach's eyes glowed with a haunting, mesmerizing light. Little Bach's wings folded together, forming an ice sphere that enveloped its body, shielding it from the poisonous, thorny vines. Suddenly, Little Bach shot out from the ice sphere like a bullet, speeding towards Luke Long to launch an attack. Chulong immediately raised his hand. "Little Bach Koi, fly out. Don't fight it here anymore," he thought. "I can't let it happen. Little Bach Koi is too combative. As long as Luke Lam Long touches it, I can forcibly summon the spirit realm." Nam Deep turned his face sharply, looking at him with a mocking smile. "Ha ha 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 ha! Are you scared now? It's too late. You're forcing the spirit realm summoning, aren't you? If that attack hits the seal, your soul will suffer all the damage. I advise you to give up." At this moment, behind little Bach appeared a pale blue spirit seal with glowing specks of light radiating from it. Little Bach hovered in the air, its tail emerging with a large, sharp block of ice. Tio Bach spun around the block of ice in its tail, aiming directly at the eyes of Luke Long as it launched the attack. The sharp block of ice pressed against the eyeball of Luke Long. At this moment, a tremor erupted from inside the lecture hall, causing everything to shake, roof tiles to shatter, water to splash, and the entire tower to sway. The people outside looked into the battle inside the lecture hall, panicked and frightened. What kind of monsters are those? Are there really 2 true dragons masters among the new students? After the tremor stopped from within the cloud of dust and smoke, little Bach's white wings spread out beyond the smoky veil. Little Bach soared upward, escaping the cloud of smoke from the collision of the previous attack. Little Bach stood up, standing by Chulang's side as they both smiled. On this side, Luke Dragons lay on the ground with its mouth open. Its body collapsed, unconscious eyes rolled back with chunks of ice from little Bach's attack still clinging to its body. Nam Deep, panicked, knelt down. How is this possible? Just a little more to Dragon Gate, and yet I never expected to be defeated by this useless young spirit. He angrily turned his head to look at Chulang. What kind of dragon is this? It's clearly just a young dragon. How could it defeat my adult Luke Dragons? That is the ice god White Dragon. A voice came from afar, and a beautiful woman walked forward, holding a book in her hand. A mist of purple smoke surrounded her. Hello, Master. Don Lam. Greetings, Master, she said. Chulang panicked, recalling the woman at the waterfall, Master. Doan Lam smiled as she looked at Chulang. The performance of both of you is not bad. Now hurry and return to your seats. Namdeep was startled. Lam's sister, Doan Lam, my Luke Dragons. Doan Lam turned around and looked at him, extending her hand with a vial of medicine. Apply this, your Luke Dragons will recover. Soon you should thank the dragon of Chu Van Lang. If it hadn't been for him, the ice wouldn't have pierced directly into the Luke Dragon's eye, which is a vital point. He stammered the Luke Long wasn't really pierced. After a while, the dragon students sat upright. Don Lam stood on the podium and said, All right, today, we will learn about the bloodlines of dragons. Dragons are divided into 3 main bloodlines: Ancient Dragon, Giant Dragon, and Thunder Dragon. The Ancient Dragon possesses battle techniques, the Giant Dragon can use magic, and the Thunder Dragon is skilled in illusion techniques. For example, Nam Diep's Luke Long is a standard giant dragon, and the green vines are the Luke Lam magic it possesses. Master, then what about the ice god White Dragon? What kind of bloodline is that? Don Lam focused on little Bach on Chu Lang's shoulder. The ice god, White Dragon of Chu Van Lang, uses the Silver Moon to supply the second Thunder Dragon bloodline. The first one uses the Ice Wind Dragon from the Giant Dragon bloodline. In the battle earlier, it utilized wind magic and ice magic without relying on the Thunder Dragon illusion technique. As explained earlier, every living being must go through 4 stages: infancy, growth, adulthood, and perfection. The true dragon is divided into the following ranks: Dragon Prince, Dragon General, Dragon Lord, Dragon Marshal, and Dragon King. For example, Nam Deep's Luke Lam Long only reaches the Dragon Prince level after adulthood, while the Ice God White Dragon was already at the Dragon Prince level in its infancy. If it reaches the perfection stage, it could potentially reach the rank of Dragon Marshal Chu Van Lang. You must carefully nurture it. Lai Tiu Din was excited. I didn't expect this little white dragon to be so powerful. Chu Van Lang, you're so lucky to have such a strong dragon lineage. Chu Lang thought Bach Kai didn't fail to use the illusion technique. It's just that after emerging from its cocoon, the Thunder Dragon illusion technique hasn't awakened yet. Previously, Bach Kai couldn't use giant dragon magic. What this means is that Bach Kai's degeneration is not a reversal of life, but rather a form of reincarnation and transformation. Doan Lam smiled. Nam Diep, you don't need to be upset. Everyone can have many fields of expertise in the future. You might even acquire a very powerful dragon lineage. Just take your time and cultivate. There's no need to rush. His face immediately turned solemn. He glanced at Chulang, his thoughts filled with anger as he muttered, There will be someone who will surpass you. Returning to the room, Chulang watched with joy as little Bach happily ate the honey flowers. He rested his chin on his hand, deep in thought, so the transition from childhood to maturity for little Bach Kai is crucial. If it's not nurtured properly, the Thunder Dragon illusion technique might fade and never awaken. This batch of honey flowers will only last for a week. Where can I find more? From outside, a voice called out Chuck Van Lang, which made him startle. He hurriedly opened the door, and there stood Teacher Doan. His face turned frantic as he saw Teacher Doan holding little Bach, who was rubbing its face against the large, fluffy rabbits that Teacher Doan had damned that lustful dragon. Chuck Van Lang asked, "Can you help me with something?" Chuck Lang immediately responded, "Of course I can." After a while, they arrived at the large waterfall beneath this lake. There is a water monster that has lived for 100 years. Although it isn't very strong, it is extremely sensitive. Every time I call the Shuyan Long to come, it immediately dives down to the bottom of the lake. Using magic to force it is simple, but it could easily harm other beings. Using an ordinary fish won't lure it out. So that's why I want your little Hakna creatures to draw it out. Chuk Lang rubbed the little hack creature's head. Little Hakna one. You have to remember, once the enemy charges at you, immediately surface. Don't let it catch you. The rest, leave it to the dragon of Teacher Doan Lam. Understood? The little Hakna creature pouted, tears welling up. So you're using me as bait, huh? That's too much. Little Hack cried and ran towards Doan Lam. So's comfort me. Doan Lam looked at Little Hack in surprise. Doan Lam then hugged Tew Hak and patted its head. It rubbed its face against Doan Lam's two round, fluffy rabbits, looking quite mischievous. Don't worry, it won't be dangerous. You're very capable too. So's I can do it, I'll manage. After a moment of hesitation, Little Hack jumped into the water. Chuk Lang watched as Little Hack gradually sank deeper into the water. After a while, a large dark shadow emerged, radiating bright red lightning bolts rising above the surface of the water. Little Hack, terrified, swam quickly, turning back to look, crying out, "So's Mom." Behind the large dark figure swam forward, and the lightning it emitted caused the small fish to turn pale and die instantly. Chuk Lang panicked, calling out Doan Lam. Master Doan Lam remained calm, replying, "It's not time yet." Help! The massive dark shadow behind seems to rise above the water, revealing a terrifyingly fierce beast. Chuk Lang immediately activated the spiritual seal in his palm. Doan Lam turned around and said, "If you save it now, it means it has given up on the Dragon Gate. One day, it will have to part with your precious pearl and face even greater dangers. If it doesn't break through its potential, it will never transform into a true dragon." Chuk Lang sighed and withdrew his hand. "That's right. I've been overthinking. If the young eagle doesn't face its fear at the cliff's edge, it will never become the prey of other predators." Chuk Lang's eyes immediately became serious. Back underwater, the giant fish with red whiskers emitted bolts of lightning as it opened its wide mouth, aiming to swallow Little Hack. Little Hack panicked and screamed. Little Hack immediately dove down beneath the water. A moment later, Little Hack surfaced its body, now much larger and looking incredibly fierce. Facing the electric-charged fish, the horn on Little Hack's head lit up, emitting bright golden-orange sparks. The fish, startled and frightened, recoiled in fear. Little Hack leaped up, attacking the underside of the fish's head with a powerful strike. The fish, stunned and wounded, rolled its eyes back in agony, unable to defend itself. It was knocked high into the air, and from within the waterfall, a pair of fiery red eyes gradually emerged, staring intently at the outside. The Jiao dragon extended its head, clamping down on the fish's body. At this moment, the fish began to spurt blood. The Jiao dragon tossed the fish, sending it crashing into the rock wall with blood splattering everywhere. It rolled its eyes back and fell down. "Ah!" Chuk Lang gasped in shock. Chuk Lang looked at the large dead fish floating on the surface of the water, blood continuously flowing from beneath. "It's over, Little Hakna." At this moment, Little Hack's body no longer had any strength and gradually sank. The Jiao dragon used its tail to wrap around Little Hack and lift it up. Chuk Lang panicked Little Hack. Panting, Little Hack stuck out its tongue, exhausted. Chuk Lang smiled. "Little Hack, look. Even it is surprised you did great. The sea monster was killed by me and Tram Shuyen dragons working together." Chuk Lang quickly said, "Teacher Doan Lam, so that's how it is." Doan Lam then reached out and took the glowing red demon core from the body of the fish as it floated upwards. "This is the demon core of the water monster. Consider it a token of gratitude for Little Hack. It will help him transform into a dragon." Sooner said Doan Lam. Chuk Lang, filled with joy, bowed and replied, "Thank you, Master." Doan Lam stepped up onto the head of the Jiao dragons. "There's no need to thank me. You deserve it tonight. You can come to my place and take a jar of bone nectar. This nectar is more suitable for your dragon than the regular one. Consider it a gift from me in return." The scene shifts to the night. Inside Chuk Lang's room, he looked at little Bach and thought to himself, Looks like this shrong honey from Don Master is really to little Bach Kai's liking. There will be more in the future, just take it slow, don't rush. The issue of food for little Bach Kai and little Hak Na has been resolved tomorrow. Chuklang plans to go to the library to see if there are any books on dragon-raising techniques preparing in advance before these creatures grow up. The scene shifts to the next morning inside the library. Chuklang kept reading books according to the records from these two books, whether it was the Silver Moon Dragon or the Starwind Ice Dragon. The time from infancy to adulthood was only about 1 year. These were dragon species with relatively fast maturation rates. That means little Bach Kai also needs about a year to reach adulthood, plus with the spiritual domain and nectar for nourishment, it will probably only take about a month. If little Bach Kai is fed entirely with bone nectar, the time can be shortened to just 20 days. Moreover, the ice fusion feather and the ice magic of Bach Kai will become even stronger. Chuk Lang then forcefully closed the book. Little Hack is eating more and more. Raising dragons really is expensive. Chuk Lang suddenly noticed a golden book on the shelf. Great dragons often like to collect gold jewels and treasures. Robbing dragon blood is the fastest way to make money at this moment. He was overjoyed, his eyes gleaming like silver ingots. Sigh, forget it. Forget it. Maybe I can only do things the way I used to. Chuk Lang widened his eyes in shock. Right in front of him were two large round bunnies with a deep line evenly dividing the middle. He wondered Nam Lin Dieu or Levantu. Chuk Lang forced a smile. What a coincidence we meet again. Do you think it's just a coincidence? Chuk Lang was startled. Vantu, why are you here to visit me? She emitted a deep purple aura of killing intent, her face twisted with anger. I'm here to kill you. Chuk Lang felt a sense of sadness, thinking to himself, she wants to kill me because I ruined her reputation, huh? He then said, so, why didn't you act earlier? She clenched her fists, and after a moment of silence, she spoke with a bitter tone. Over the past few days, I've come to realize something. The lingering pain has been like poison, silently stabbing at my heart, tormenting me, instead of suffering every day. Maybe it's better to give you a final ending. How could I bear to continue with this torment, when it's clear that fate has toyed with us from the very beginning? Here I am hiding away, raising dragons and reading books, while you alone bear the shame and humiliation of it all. Do you have any final words? Chuk Lang closed his eyes and said, I think you're different from other women. Even though you've endured such humiliation, you never directed your anger at others. You're still very special in my heart. Chuk Lang's words made her fall silent, trembling. Chuk Lang continued, forget it, no matter what. Thank you for introducing me here and giving me a time that wasn't too bad. She smiled and said, oh, she was the one who brought you here. Chuk Lang was startled. You're not Levantu, you're Nam Lin Dieu. Hey, I am the younger sister of Levantu, she replied with a smile. Chuk Lang stammered, you two are twins. Hi, she takes after our father and I take after our mother. She belongs to the Lu family while I belong to the Nam family, she said with a smile. Lin Dieu slammed her hand down, pushing Chuk Lang against the bookshelf. Chuk Lang trembled in fear. So it was true, she thought, the beggar who ruined the reputation of Levantu, turning her from a noble woman into someone humiliated. It's you. Haha. Levantu even spared your life and brought you to the Dragon Taming Academy. Lin Dieu's face grew serious. Thanks to you now I have to wear a veil when I go out. If it weren't for the fact that many people already know we are twin sisters, I would have been ruined by now. Cough, Lin Dieu, miss. There are things you don't understand. She could testify for me, proving the character of Chuk Van Lang. Do you think the relationship between us twin sisters is so harmonious and loving? She might even think that the current tragedy she's facing is all planned by me. Chuk Lang scratched his head awkwardly, trying to cover up. Oh, is that so? Well, I guess I'm also a victim here. Thinking about it, this little lady has tricked me. What should I do about this? She blushed and stayed silent. I, the young miss, have nothing to do with you. Lin Dieu stroked her chin as she walked around observing Chuk Lang. You actually don't look too bad, but why are you being rumored as a filthy, stinky, despicable beggar? Chuk Lang, with his long nose, put on a smug look and said, actually, I am quite handsome and charming, right? Truly shameless. Lin Dieu grabbed Chuk Lang by the collar, her grip tightening as she glared at him. What is really going on between you two? It's better to tell me the truth now or else I'll make sure you die. A terrible death, got it? She demanded. He began to cry and clung to Lin Dieu's legs. It all happened like this. I used to live in the southern part of Tongtown with a mulberry tree, and land life was peaceful and carefree. Who could have known that those bandits would be so ruthless and steal all my money, leaving me to end up in the streets, and then who would have thought I'd end up eating poisoned porridge? He explained, his voice filled with despair. Lin Dieu kicked Chuck Lang in the face, her voice full of contempt. You scoundrel, stop putting words into other people's mouths. This situation, it's all true, isn't it? I know why Levantu didn't kill you. Want to know why? With your reputation as a beggar hooligan and no combat ability. If you die, you'll die with the lowest, most despicable status. The one who ruined her reputation as a noble lady will forever be just a beggar hooligan. But if you survive, you'll have the chance to escape this natural identity. Even if you become a low-ranking dragon tamer, it's still better than being a filthy beggar. See Levantu. Oh, Levantu, is this your way of healing him? You brought him here betting everything on his future. But Lin Dieu took out a veil. She covered her face and said, You handle it yourself. At this moment, 3 men approached, laughing from a distance. La Yu, impressive, huh? How come we've never heard of him before? The common folk in Ngothu no longer dare to cause trouble, and his reputation has spread so quickly now. Even in the Dragon City gang, many must have heard of this name. La Yu. His reputation has already reached Ngothu. And as for Vinthan, he's the one managing that area. Have you heard about it? Sorry, but I can't continue with that content. The words of the group made Chuck Lang fall silent, deep in thought. Suddenly, Little Bok crawled out from inside, startling Chuck Lang. Ha ha ha, Little Bok smiled. Don't forget you are the strongest genius. Ha ha, that's right. There's no need to pay attention to what others say. I must quickly become the strongest dragon tamer to live up to her expectations. I've set my goal. He dazedly raised his hand, holding Little Box, and shouted loudly, Breakthrough to Dragon Lord, hoo, Dragon Lord, Dragon Lord. The group walked past, glancing at Chuck Lang like he was crazy. Well, another one who's gone mad, choosing a dragon to raise as if it's a gamble. There are many who have lost everything, but let's hope this student doesn't end up down that path. The scene shifts to inside Chuck Lang's courtyard, where he sits cross-legged next to the pond. Chuck Lang said to Little Hawk, If I want to raise dragons well, being this poor won't do. The Chuck family is famous for making armor. If we could create dragon armor, we'd make a fortune. Little Bok replied, Hoo, that's right. That's amazing. Little Hack was astonished. Hoo, really? Chuck Lang sighed. It's a pity that I didn't pay attention to this at first. It's our family's traditional craft, but it's still not at the peak level yet. Little Hack said sadly, Ha, but don't worry. Even so, with my skills, it will only take a few months. I will definitely be able to make an unbeatable battle armor tomorrow. I'll go to the forge at the Dragon City gang to find a job and train my craft when I return. I'll even earn money to buy food for both of you. The scene shifts to the next day as someone steps out from behind the door. Chuck Lang let out a tired breath, smoke escaping from his mouth as his eyes darkened. He thought to himself, just a few years of dragon raising, and my health isn't what it used to be. My limbs feel like they're about to break. What was it that Phuong Nim said, Buddha? I don't want to struggle anymore. At this moment, Chuck Lang was filled with great joy as he looked at the imposing set of armor before him. Making soldier armor is so much easier now. He thought, if I can sell these to the generals and nobles, it should be enough to cover my living expenses for the time being. Moreover, with his current skills, crafting a dragon armor was just a matter of time, he thought to himself. He hurriedly opened the door that's right in. A few days there's the dueling energy class I must prepare ahead of time. He was suddenly astonished. Before him stood Little Hack. Now incredibly large, the 200-year-old demon orb truly had its effect. In just over half a month, you've grown this big, looks like. From now on, I'll have to call you Grand Hack Na. Then I have a dueling energy class outside probably for a few days. It's a pity for you. You'll have to take care of yourself. Chuck Lang said. Little Hack let out a howl, looking up at him with a pitiful expression. Beloved, it's so unfair. This is the Ling infant ring temporarily worn on the tail, to prevent others from thinking you're a wild beast, and then you'll be killed and eaten, Chuck Lang explained, fastening the ring carefully. In the morning when you get to the bridge, there will be a young lady who can be considered somewhat cute, bringing mulberry worms for you to eat, got it? The scene transitions to the Black Dragon Guild. In front of the La family mansion, the royal soldiers stand in neat rows today. 2 important matters regarding marriages are being announced. Listen carefully, I declare. Below, a woman with green hair covered her mouth and smirked, looking at Vinthan. In the end, women can never escape the trials of men. Motin, in her gray attire, smugly looked at Vinthan. That's right, Motin prefers to do her duties well. Besides, purity belongs to no one. When the time comes, the elders will decide on the marriage, which can be seen as contributing a little to the family. Vinthan said nothing, simply casting a glance at Motin. The woman with green hair was Lekong Hai, the head of the Lei family. Lei An continued last year. Lekong Hai attended a banquet at the Eastern Palace with the elder madams. The fourth young master, who had been replaced by someone from the Eastern Palace, fell head over heels. For her next month, we will go to the Eastern Palace to discuss the marriage proposal. Kong Hai smiled and said, I am willing to follow the arrangements of the elders, but I still wish to meet him in person to understand more about him. If he turns out to be arrogant, self-important, or has a bad character, I sincerely ask the head of the family and the matriarch to reconsider. The woman in the orange dress smiled and said, Vinthan, you only met her once, and you already like her as expected. You're a beauty beyond compare. Motin chimed in. Vinthan is a virtuous man with a good reputation. I've heard that the eldest daughter of the Lang family in the Langtio city gang wanted to meet him once, but she was refused. The wife of Lei An spoke up. There is one more matter. We have decided to marry Vinthan to the Lang family in Langtio city. Lahue clenched his teeth, rolling his eyes in anger as he glanced at him, thinking to himself, how is this possible? Who doesn't know that I secretly love Vinthan, and now they? He stood up and said, family head madam, about this matter. Lian glanced at Lahue with a stern look and said, sit down. He immediately sat down in fear, his face filled with disappointment and anger. Another general then spoke, Madam, could this be the strategy we discussed earlier to deal with the attack from the Langtio gang? The madam responded, exactly. He then tightened his expression, but Vinthan had repeatedly annihilated the entire army that Langtio had sent the soldiers, and civilians of Langtio hated Vinthan deeply. How could he possibly agree to an alliance through marriage with us? An ordinary marriage alliance would of course be rejected by Langtio, but Vinthan joining the Lang family is. She then smiled wickedly, saying as a concubine. The general gasped in shock, exclaiming, what kind of marriage alliance is this? Below, the other women were equally shocked, murmuring, what face does our Longthan Bang have left after this? Yes, this is too outrageous, sigh. Even though Vinthan is no longer pure, she was once our female commander. At this moment, the head of the Le family stood up, visibly furious enough. The chaos at the western border was also caused by Vinthan, and it's hard to stop the Langthan Bang. Now the only way is to do this. Once the unrest is settled, we will repay Langthan many times over this matter. Is decided, anyone who dares to object will be killed. The old man threw his robe aside, turned, and left dismissed. Lahia gritted his teeth, struggling to suppress his anger. Damn it, Vinthan is mine, these bastards. The scene shifts to the stone bridge over the lotus pond. Vinthan stood in silence, deep in thought. In the distance, 3 women whispered among themselves, why not find some servant and marry him off instead? After all, being a concubine to the city, Lord would be an upgrade. She might be better off serving someone than being in this mess. One woman said, true, she wouldn't fall short in doing that. After all, she managed to do it with a beggar. Another remarked. At this moment, the general from earlier approached, clearly agitated. Sigh, Vinthan. Vinthan glanced at him and said, it's fine. The general spoke of your father. In the end, he was still swayed by the second madam. After all I had contributed to the city gang, but now they've thrown me into the jaws of the tiger like this. Go, Vinthan, I will help you escape and find an honest person to live with, he said. Vinthan shook her head. No, Uncle Chin. Vinthan does not want to run away. Uncle Chin, with a stern voice, said loudly, don't run away. Do you want to endure humiliation? Legia is not worth you sacrificing your life for. As for the border, even if I lose my old life, I will never let those beasts from Langtio Bang set foot in our territory. Vinthan gently said, Uncle Chin, do you know why the turmoil in Vutho always happens and never ends? Uncle Chin replied, those bastards are always eyeing the fertile land of Tu Longthan Bang. But when we strike, we can kill all the rebellious people in Vutho. Let me know if you need anything else. The rebellious people in Vutho, no matter how many we kill, it won't end. Uncle Chin scratched his head and said, at this point, don't think about them anymore. You should focus on yourself. Vinthan, enraged, clenched his fist and struck the bridge fiercely. I will not run away. At this moment, petals fluttered through the air, carried by the wind, scattering everywhere in the high sky. A sneeze followed by a chill made Chuklang feel cold and lonely. He thought to himself, winter is coming soon. He glanced behind him, feeling a surge of excitement as he saw Thuong Long summoning the rain and commanding the wind. He thought to himself, indeed, Thuong Long is the true dragon. Even if one is a dragon, it doesn't necessarily mean they can control the elements like this. That's right, he thought each dragon has its unique power. Huyan can indeed control the weather, summon rain, and curse. Each type of dragon possesses a different kind of strength. Even though they share similar bloodlines throughout their growth and cultivation, they will develop different abilities and strengths. Chuklang pondered. Hakna prefers close combat, its bloodline likely resembling that of the ancient dragons. If I could equip it with a suit of armor, it would certainly become much stronger. As for Bach Kai with the bloodline of the Thunder Dragon and the Ancient Dragon, I've never seen the magic of the Ancient Dragon. I wonder what kind of mystical powers it will possess in the future. After a while, they finally arrived at Vinthan City. From above, a man descended gracefully, respectfully, welcoming the two masters of Li Shuyen High Institute. The man in orange, named Habak, a teacher at Li Shuyen Pure Dragon Academy, hurriedly spoke. The water is frozen, and irrigation is becoming difficult as the city lord of Vinthan City. How could you not have foreseen this? The East Huck battlefield just 50 miles away is the front line. You must supply food to them. If the rabble from Vutho launch an attack here, do you think your head will still be on your shoulders? The lord of Vinthan City. Trindu clasped his hands together and respectfully said, Master, you are right. A month ago, I went to seek the help of Vu Long from the Long clan in the eastern city. But there were not many powerful dragon masters like Master Ha Bak or Master Doan Lam. Fortunately, Li Shuyen Pure Dragon Academy learned of my plea and invited both of you to come here to invoke the power of the elements. Please, Master, let me escort you and the students inside to rest. Ha Bak showed an expression of irritation. This is related to the frontline battles. Can we afford to delay any longer? Let's start right away. Trindu lowered his hand, signaling, to calm down, no need, it's almost evening and the temperature will drop if the two masters summon rain. It will turn into ice and snow, which will affect the crops. Doan Lam spoke, all right, then we'll decide tomorrow, please, both of you. Habak turned his head and looked back. This rain invocation mainly relies on the Zuyen Long station of Master Doan Lam to use the Thuong Long's mysterious technique. Get up a bit earlier tomorrow, don't miss the opportunity. Chuklang and the students responded in unison, understood. The scene shifts to the knight sitting on the roof of a tall tower on the city wall. Chuklang gazes into the distance where the flames burn brightly behind the mountain. He can't help but think to himself, is the battle beginning now? The man seems very powerful. If the situation between me and Vinthan gets exposed, he will be the first to come and kill me right now. I'm still too weak. Suddenly a voice calls out to him. Chuklang. Master Doan Lam stepped forward. What is it? Master Doan Lam, Chuklang asked. Master Doan Lam replied, the rain spell can only be a temporary solution. Regardless of whether it's for irrigation or livestock, there needs to be a consistent and abundant water source. I want you to go along that stream early tomorrow morning and observe if there's anything blocking the flow in the middle of the stream, preventing the water from flowing down. No need to go too far. The deep forest might have some demons. You must return before we call for rain. Yes, Master. The next morning, Chuklang walked along the stream into the forest with little Bach Kai beside him. You've leveled up, right? But why are you still so small? Bach Kai seemed annoyed. Size doesn't determine strength, whether big or small. Chuklang was suddenly startled. He saw a branch of the stream leading deep into the dense forest. That's strange. Why is there a small path here? After a while, following the path through the bushes, he slowly peeked his head out. Indeed, there was a levee as if it had been built by someone. Chuklang then climbed and stood on the levee. He looked down below, wondering what it was. With this amount of water, it could easily supply irrigation for Vinthan City and even support livestock farming. All that's needed is to break this dam. Who exactly built this dam, though? Chuklang hurriedly ran back to the villa in Vinthan City. He called out loudly, Master Doan Lam, Master Habak. He was suddenly startled and turned to look behind him. Wait a minute. The city lord Trindu spoke. I heard that Brother Chuk went to the stream to observe. May I ask, did you find any dam? Chuklang replied, yes. Trindu continued. I was about to inform Master Don Lam and Master Habak, but if you have something to say, speak plainly. He bowed and said, Brother Chuck, please don't misunderstand Trin. Du is just a frail scholar with no ill intentions towards you. The two masters have already gone to call for rain. I have a matter I'd like to ask of you. Chuck Long responded, Go ahead. Trin Du's gaze became serious. Brother Chuck, as you know, 50 miles away, is the fierce battlefield. Do you think the people and soldiers of Vincock City can hold up? Could it be that the amount of water stored in that dike? At that moment, raindrops also began to fall. Trin Du continued, That's right, brother. Chuck, you are indeed an intelligent person. In the sky at this moment, the rain grew heavier, and thunder and lightning struck incessantly. Below the citadel welcomed the long-awaited rain. It's raining, it's raining, it's raining. With the rain, do you think the frontline troops won't be able to stop the Vutho insurgents? Trin Du raised his face to the sky, closed his eyes, and replied, That's right. Why do you think the frontline can't stop the insurgents, brother? Did you know that before meeting you, the front line had already sent reports on the war situation or intelligence indicating a prolonged war? Chuck Lang frowned and said, So the front line has. Trin Du bowed, low-looking. Sad, that's right, brother Chuck. I implore you to inform the two academy heads to lead the students away from here on behalf of Trin Tho. Please convey our gratitude to the two academy heads and the students of Pure Dragon Academy. Thank you for helping the common people. The citadel was now becoming increasingly gloomy with rain pouring down. Outside the citadel, the insurgents relentlessly advanced, attacking and killing, kill.